Welcome to You Can't Handle the Truth, where we dive into the real raw truth about health, wellness, and self-growth. I am your Real Talk guru and your rebel healer, here to cut through the noise and dig deep into mental, physical, and spiritual health, uncovering the truths that many aren't ready to confront. And we're doing that together to step into our true, authentic selves. Welcome back to You Can't Handle the Truth. And today we are talking about a question that many of us have as we age, as we get to be 40s, in our 50s. And I'm going to read you a question that a fellow rebelette has asked about her finances, and then I'm going to get into my opinion. All right, so let's get right into it. I turned 50 this year and am now wondering what financial ducks I need to get in a row. I have a 401k and my own still under mortgage place. So she has a mortgage on her house. And I'm working on getting new qualifications so that I can take a second job in something unrelated to my current one. Conflicts of interest are an issue in my field. What are things to look out for and sort out? So this is so important as we age. And you know what? I do have some answers for you ladies out there. I'm going to read what some of the other rebelettes have responded to her, and then I'm going to tell you what I think, okay? Because this is huge, right? Like, we wonder, are we going to have enough money? Is there going to be enough Social Security? How much are we making? Listen, if you are making, let's just say you're making $6,000 a month, right? $6,000 a month is about $72,000 a year. And I know not everybody makes that, but this is just for the sake of this exercise that I'm going to do with you. If you're making $6,000 a year, right, and you take a look, and now you're 50, and you take a look and you see, if you retire at 62, you're going to get maybe, let's say, and it depends on when you started working. It depends on, everyone's situation is going to be different. Maybe you're going to get about $2,500 to $3,000 a month, right? So now your income is cut in half. Now, some of you may have a pension. There are not very many pensions out there. With all the ups and downs that have happened in the economy, people have already tapped into their 401ks, but they do have 401ks. You want to start, what I would say is you want to start looking at a financial advisor to take a look to see if there's somewhere to move your money, so that, like, maybe check out the word fiduciary. You want to look into a fiduciary that may be where you can move your money around so that the fees aren't as high. Because 401ks, although they're great for matching, right? You get a 50% match in some places. Some places it's more, some businesses give more, but you have hidden fees when you go to take your money. And that money is taxed also when you take it. And if you take it early, there's a penalty. So if you take it before your retirement age, which is what, 62, there's a 10% withdrawal fee. So on top of your taxes. So you want to start talking to somebody about that, right? So that's the part where you want to determine whether you're on track financially for retirement. And if not, you want to increase contributions, or you want to look at some other investments. I'm not a financial advisor, so I cannot give you financial advice, but I've done some drastic things because I personally did not have I did not have a chance to build up a 401k like many people have. And mind you, the 401k is based on markets, right? So 401ks go up and they go down based on what's happening with the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ, just saying. So that's something else to keep in mind also. So you may look today and it may say, oh, you have like $500,000 in your 401k. Wonderful, right? And then the Dow Jones crashes, and then now you have 250,000. How do you plan for that loss? How do you plan? That's what I'm saying. Like at this point, I would say talk to a fiduciary if you can, um, because fiduciaries don't get paid the same way as brokers. There are brokers that are working on the back end of your 401k and there are fees involved. If you read all the fine print, there are many fees involved in your 401k. So what you think you're going to get may not be what you're getting. So you want to talk to somebody who knows and who's going to be honest. And of course, the fiduciary gets paid, but they don't look up, just do research. I don't have a lot of time to talk about that today in particular, but just look up that term, fiduciary. Okay, so next, you want to get a physical and start dealing with any medical issues you have. Being healthy as we age is so important. Okay, so we just had the CEO, Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, get shot and killed potentially for denying healthcare to people. So this is definitely a time. I think I'm 54 now. So I was about 42 myself when I started realizing like I was having some health issues, the things that I was doing when I was in my 20s, I couldn't do it anymore. I had to slow down on my wine drinking. I love my wine. And I tell everyone this because this is something that I really enjoyed. And, my health was failing. I had some thyroid issues and other things going on with inflammation. And I had to clean up my diet. So this is a good time to start cleaning up your diet for sure, for sure, for sure. You want to be as healthy as possible. I had joint pain, which I do not have anymore. I mean, like literally I was in my 40s feeling like I was like 60 something, 70 something, whatever that feels like. And I think even in your 60s and your 70s, you should be feeling well. There should be no reason why you get to a point where you're just like, oh, I'm 60 and I feel this way and I feel terrible and this is normal. No, it's not normal. It's time to start watching the food that you eat. And if I have to say one thing about the Trump administration, that they're putting RFK in to handle food, and hopefully he's really going to do something about our food supply, because I feel like our food supply here in the US especially is making us sick. It's making you sick. You could check out the description box. You can sign up for my weekly flyer that I send out, that I will be putting information. I will be putting financial health information, mental health, physical health information in that flyer. I think I'm going to do it bi-weekly, but go down into the description box. It's free. Sign up for it. As when you sign up for it, you'll be able to download December's newsletter right away. And you'll also be able to download a free copy of my 7-day cleanse to get you started on your way to clean eating. Because I think it's really important at this stage of life, ladies. You go to restaurants, you don't know what they're putting in your food. The food is processed. My advice to most people is, when you shop at the grocery store, if you're just getting started at this, think about it this way. You should just be shopping the perimeter of the grocery store. Anything that's in the middle aisle, it's processed. It's been processed. It has preservatives, sugar, high fructose corn syrup, things that your body cannot process and that are causing inflammation. So if you just start by shopping the perimeter, whether your meats, your fruits, milk, eggs, and things like that, you're going to end up getting a lot less processed foods. That means cooking, right? Like you're not buying things out of a box. These things out of a box, I don't know what it is, but it's not food. It's killing us. Anyway, I digress. So anyway, the next thing you want to do is set up a will and trust. And if that makes sense to you, I think that should make sense to all of us. I mean, I'm even in the process of looking at doing the same, because especially if you have children and things like that, you want to make sure that things are set up. You want to have 6 months or so of living expenses. for emergency fund. I mean, this lady is literally talking about at 50 right now that she's looking at taking out a second job, which says to me that either she knows she doesn't have enough money to retire, or the money that she's making is not even enough to cover her expenses, which does not surprise me at all in today's economy. Food prices have doubled, gas prices are out of control, property taxes. I mean, they're taxing the crap out of us right now. And it's my personal belief. I don't know. I'm also not a real estate agent, but it's also my personal belief that we're going to have a downturn at some point in the market because of inflation. There's way too much inflation, way too much money has been printed, and we cannot keep up the look. It's just not going to hold up. And so you have to start getting yourself ready for some of these things that might happen. And I realize that most people just listen to the mainstream media, and so you don't really know what's happening. I mean, right now, I was just listening to something not mainstream where they said that Bank of America is going to lay off. They're laying off and they're closing some of their branches, right? Because they can't sustain. Listen, if any of you were there in 2008 when they did the bailout, they used Bank of America to bail out some of these smaller banks. And then they went ahead, remember, in 2020, we printed a lot more money. So they just can't keep up. They can't keep up with the amount of expenses that they have. And it's pretty evident. Bank of America is just one bank. It's not just happening at Bank of America. But if you bank at any of these institutions, you can tell that the customer service has gone down. A savings account is what? It's a holding account. You're basically putting your money in the bank and loaning it to the banks for free. And they're taking your money because the bank, if you know anything about how banks run, and if you don't, I'll put it in my newsletter. I'm not going to put it here. If you want to know, there's a book that tells you all about the financial institution here in the U.S. If you want to know what it is, drop me a comment down below and I will tell you. But I'll also sign up for the newsletter because I'm also going to put that in the newsletter. What else? Oh, wow. So someone says, no kids, let the term life insurance collapse too, since no one needs it after me. I mean, that depends on you. I would talk to your financial advisor about that. That's maybe something your fiduciary could help you with, because there are ways, by the way, if you want to know, this is something else I'm going to be doing and including in my newsletter at some point. I mean, it's a lot of information, so I'm not going to include it all at one time, but I'll be including in my newsletter some other information about finances, because there are ways that you can become your own bank. There are ways to do that. It takes time. There's a process, obviously. And there are ways that's what else I wanted to tell you. I am going to share that with you on this podcast right now. And if you want, I'm going to give you a little bit, but if you want more information, either sign up for my newsletter or you can contact me via email. But do sign up for the newsletter because I'm going to have more information in there. Do you know that there is a way? Well, do you know that, like she said, she has a mortgage, right? So this lady right now in her 50s, she has a mortgage. I would say make sure that your credit score is good, above 750, about 750 or higher, if possible. Stay away from credit card debt. That's something else I would say. Pay off your credit cards. And then once you do that, because this is working towards a goal. And what is the goal? I'm about to tell you what the goal is. This woman has a regular mortgage, right? A 30-year mortgage. In your 30-year mortgage, they front load all your all the interest on your mortgage payments, which means the first 15 years of your mortgage, the first 10 years actually of your mortgage, you're mostly making interest payments. You don't build up a lot of equity in your home in that first 10 years because the interest is compounded and it's front loaded on your payments. So the first, very first payment that you make on your mortgage is almost all interest. Think about that. And I know you're saying, well, that's what we got to do. Well, what if I told you that there's another way? That if you clean, that if you're someone who has, and this may not be for everyone because you have to be disciplined, but there's something called a first lien HELOC that not a lot of banks will tell you about. And I don't have time to explain it here on this podcast, but what I will say to you is that the first lien HELOC is run on simple interest and replaces your mortgage. And with that, interest is not front loaded, so you have a chance to build equity in your home ahead of time that you now have available to you to use at your disposal. So it's like having, a second, like a home equity line of credit that people, so it's like a second lien on the house. Like you have your mortgage and then you have a home equity line of credit where you can pull that money in and out and it's a revolving door. Well, imagine your whole mortgage not being a mortgage, but your house being on a HELOC instead, where that's what happens. Yep, it's true. It's true. You can do that. That alleviates a lot of pressure because here's the thing that happens as people get older. Like this lady's going to pay her house off, right? And the taxes are increasing on the properties, right? And so by the time she retires, her property taxes, money, repairs on the home are going to be almost like having a mortgage payment. And what did we say at the beginning? If she's only counting, let's say she's only counting on Social Security and she was making $6,000 a month, which is not even enough because she wants a second job. She only has now $3,000. How's she going to afford that? How's she going to go? Like she's retiring. How is she going to afford to travel? How is this woman going to afford to travel? Your retirement years are the years where you should be traveling. Now you should be like looking forward to doing the things that you want to do. And then you retire and you can't even figure out how you're going to pay your rent, pay your mortgage, and buy food. Look, there's a lot to think about. And if you're listening to this, it's really time to start thinking about it. If you're 40 and you haven't thought about it and you haven't done anything, it's not too late. There's some steps you could, obviously it would be nicer if you did something sooner. It's not too late to change things around to make yourself, no matter what happens with the economy, to make things easier for you and your family. Let me see if there's anything else anyone else had to say. But these are things, like I said, I'm going to be putting in my newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter because I'm going to have a lot of information of things. And these are not just things that I'm just pulling off the internet. These are things that I've done myself and I know that they work. I will not share anything with anyone that I haven't done myself that I am not sure whether or not it will work. And like I said, not every process is for everyone, but it's definitely worth looking at things a little bit differently, especially when you're looking at retirement and you know that maybe you don't have a huge 401k built up and you're wondering, wow, like how am I gonna make this work? Let me see. Let me see. Some Someone said to have a diversified portfolio, emergency funds, which we talked about. Pay off credit card debt. That's what I said. Pay off your credit card debt. Um, you know, the other thing that you might look at is a cash out refinance to pay off your debt. But this would be, I mean, there would have to be, and I'm not just going to tell anyone to cash out refinance, because cash out refinance is different than the first lien HELOC that I spoke about. And like I said, if you want more, if you want a consultation, sign up for my newsletter. I'm going to there'll be more information in there. Maybe at some point, I'm not offering consultations right now but maybe in the future I will. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. I'm thinking about it, but I haven't thought that far ahead yet. And that's not something that I'm doing right now. And I'm not a financial advisor. So you should definitely, no matter whether or not you had a consultation with me, I would still have you, you would still need to have a financial advisor to advise you, on your situation, because everyone's situation is different. And there needs to be, when you take a look and see what all these tools that maybe you don't know are available to you, you're going to have to take a look at your own particular situation and see what tools, what strategy, if you're going to use these tools, and what strategy you're going to be using to use these tools. Like, what is the plan? You need to put a plan together. Like, I had a strategy. My strategy developed over time, but I literally, there was strategically, the things that I did worked out perfectly for us, right? And it might be different for you. Let me see what else. Someone said, like, get the things you need. If you plan to stay in your home for long term, determine large upcoming expenses, both indoor and outdoors, for instance, furnace, refrigerator, anything that you need to have replaced. Determine those things and get them done before you retire. And someone said, I think I'm more concerned about end of life care and burial than a will. I can age in my home. It's a small condo, but it's doable. It does need the kitchen and bathroom redone, though. Yeah, so end of life care. Definitely. What are you going to do? Are you going to go to the nursing home? Are you moving? I mean, are you retiring in the U.S.? Are you retiring outside the U.S.? Are you, what is your plan for end of life care? Do you have someone that can help you? If not, like, if you don't have kids, or if you don't have kids that can help you, like with your end of life care, is that a burden that you want to put on them? I mean, my grandmother was with my mom, and I watched my mom really do a lot with my grandmother. It's a very, it's what we do for our parents, but like, it's a very stressful thing when you have kids that you're raising, and then you're trying to take care of an elderly parent, and then you're also in your midlife worrying about retirement, right? And then you worrying about your own end of life care. Look, it's overwhelming. Okay, so it's definitely something we want to think about, how we want to see that go. And I know no one wants to talk about it. It's a difficult conversation even here at home, but like, it's something that we need to understand. Like, if you're married, what does your spouse have? What is your spouse leaving for you? How are you going to manage when your spouse is no longer around? Is there enough insurance to cover if something happens based on what you guys have going on? It's a lot. Because that's going to be like, if you're bringing in, let's say you're bringing in 5,000 a month, and your spouse is bringing in 5,000, boom, that 5,000 is gone, right? And then what? What's the plan? Just some things that we don't like to think about that we really need to be thinking about, ladies. Draw me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm going to link it in the description box. Sign up for the newsletter. Absolutely sign up for the newsletter, because there's going to be lots of information. Some things that I cannot say here on YouTube, because they censor a lot of stuff. I don't know what they censor anymore. And I'm not a financial advisor, but I can share with you. I can share with you in the newsletter some things that I've done, and you can take and do with that what you will, to help yourself and your family, be more financially secure, especially now with the economy the way it is. And what I'm seeing online that's not on mainstream media, it's like, wow, they keep telling you like, yeah, the economy's fine, the economy's doing well, and then things will crash and they'll say, oh, it's all Trump's fault. No, it was coming. We printed a lot of money. It's not just Donald Trump or anybody. It's basically that we've overextended our debt. Our national debt is ridiculous. And oh my gosh, I can put that. I won't put it in the description box, but I'll put the link if you want to know what the debt and what we owe. The national debt, there's a website that you can go to, and it's live. You can watch it accumulate, and you can see a lot of other things on that site too that will shock you. Most people don't even know that site exists. But anyhow, I hope this information found you well today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, concerns, drop me a comment. Sign up for that newsletter, ladies. Sign up for it. You won't regret it. I'm going to be putting a lot of information in there over the next year that you will find really, really helpful. I promise you. I promise you. And it'll go directly to your inbox, and I don't sell anybody's information. Your information just stays with me, and I'm not going to spam you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, and you stay beautiful. You stay strong. You stay inspired, and you keep taking care of yourself so you can keep taking care of those around you. Peace and love. Until next time, thank you for joining me on You Can't Handle the Truth.